This is just going to be a quick update to the progress on our property. As you can see, things are looking really good here. There was a lot of logs and just debris, small pieces of wood down in here we cleared up today, as well as that whole row of pine trees that were all just shoved up in here that had fallen down. We were able to go ahead and burn up a lot of those right here. Just made a really small fire. Didn't want to get anything too big next to this barn here, but I'm going to stay and make sure that this one burns out before I leave. But yeah, again, the guy's taking down the barn right now that I sold it to. I'm going to give him free range over having this shed, as well as the other two buildings over here as well. So if he wants to take those, he can. If not, then I'll go ahead and take those down. Found a few fuel oil tanks, gas tanks that were in there. Again, here's the progress on the barn. Going really good. Another fire out back that way. Gonna start walking out that way now. But yeah, there was a whole bunch of trees in here, wood that had just been piled. So much deadfall. This pile here, I'm gonna go ahead and burn next year. Probably having the guy take everything that he doesn't want from the barn and put it on this pile. So I'm gonna go ahead and burn that next year. And then there's a couple pieces of wood over here that have fallen down, and also over here on this side with roots still attached to them. So those will probably be next year when we get a little bit of snow on the ground again. There was a large pile back there in that portion of the woods that we went ahead and burned a couple days ago. Pretty wet wood, so it was kind of hard to get it going, but had Mom, Dad, Jessica, and my friend Sean came and helped. Dad brought his tractor, so that helped a lot. Bunch of scrap that we pulled out of this pile here. There's already kind of a pile of wood here, so that's why we started burning this one in this location. These giant round rings. Not sure what those are from. If anyone knows, let me know in the description, in the comments down below. There's two of them here, and then this sign here as well. So kind of some old interesting artifacts. This thing has wood in it, almost looks like an old axle. Maybe it would have been a wood wheel. Not sure on that one. You can still see some of these trees that are frozen in the ground. We weren't able to get those out. Should be getting thawed now though. This fire is really roaring though. These are all logs that came from the front that we've been bringing back here today. And again, burning on an old pile of logs here that were just completely waterlogged and soaked. A couple of root balls in here. Probably stop back by here again tomorrow and just throw this in. There will be a couple ends here. Hopefully throw it in, whatever hadn't burned, and get this pile burned up. Again, there's these logs in here. So these logs are underneath this dirt, frozen in the ground. That's dirt on top that's kind of pinning these logs in. Now that the fire's burning next to it, I'm sure it's thawing pretty good. Well, the water. Over the last couple days, we have lost a lot of our snow that we had here. This area is getting very wet. See all the water in here. It was about freezing today, so that's why things are kind of starting to freeze back over. This is the area that we're planning on putting our house right here. We are working through kind of determining who we want our builder to be. So that's kind of an interesting process because there's a lot of differences in them. But yeah, we're kind of determining whether we want to start building our house this year before winter hits, so it's not too expensive to bring in utilities after the ground frost, and maybe get some walls and heat in the house before winter hits next year. I'm gonna go fly the drone now, get an aerial view, but it's a pretty nice sight out here to see. All right, jumping in the drone video here, we can see kind of where all those pine trees were sitting over there on the left-hand side where there's no snow at. Fire's blazing pretty good. We got it pretty warm, so it burns up all that wood, and there's that shed, some fuel tanks there, as well as the car in the background. I'll continue kind of panning around here. Manure spreader is right in the top screen, kind of behind those trees. The barn, at this point, they had a few of the boards taken off of it. At this time that I'm doing the voiceover now, it is completely down on the ground. I'm actually going to make that its own video of them actually taking down the entire barn and step by step as they deconstructed it. This area here had a whole bunch of logs and trees. I'll continue panning around, and over on the right hand side right behind this tree is where a bunch of those old farm implements are now. I'm going to work on getting those out this weekend, but now I'm going to jump into some video from December 1st. You can probably see this is an old farmhouse. This looks like an old kitchen, 6-burner stove there in the middle, couple pieces of old equipment, old rake over there, another shed back here, another shed over here. They have a bunch of brush pushed up in front of this. All these trees used to be out here in this farm field. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that kind of before and after shot, and you can really see how just clearing up a bunch of that brush and those tree piles has really improved the looks of the property already. Like I said, this weekend coming up when I'm recording this voiceover, we are actually going to go out there and remove a bunch of those trees that are around all the implements that are kind of keeping them locked in and not being able to remove. Probably jack a couple of them out of the ground because they're sunk in a little deep too. Now we can go ahead and see the backfire. This one we really had burning hot. A lot of these logs were kind of waterlogged and were very hard to burn, so you really need to get a hot fire going to be able to get those all burned up. That sign over in the bottom right hand corner, it's pretty cool. It's an old porcelain sign. It's Sieberling, and it was a air-cooled tire. So that's an interesting piece of history. Now I'm over in the smaller woods portion of our land, and again you can see where all these trees were and where we were able to get those burned up. This was all a tree row that the farmer shoved up in here. Alright, I ran back out here again today just to kind of throw the fire all in whatever hadn't burnt. This pile's pretty much all burnt up. Head out to the back one now, see how much is left back on that one. Back here on the backfire, there's quite a bit more wood to burn, but a lot less than there was here last night, so I'm gonna go ahead, toss this all in, and it should burn up pretty good. All right, got it all tossed back in. This should all burn up pretty well now. Hopefully the next time I'm out here, there's not much left. Again, almost all these trees were completely dead. You can see how rotten they are right there. And they were just scattered all across the property, so not like we were really cutting down live trees and burning these. Just kind of clearing up the property a little bit of all the deadfall. Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Also make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next videos I will be posting, and leave your questions, comments, and suggestions below.